comfortably say economically challenged family, because I don't call my family poor. I call them economically challenged. But for you that don't understand what that is, we'll just call it poor, okay? We didn't have the best of the best, but we had what we had to have. My mother finished 3rd grade. My daddy finished 1st grade. I had 3 brothers and sisters. I'm sorry, 3 brothers, 2 brothers and 1 sister. Let me say it that way. There's 3 of us, 4 of us in total. And like I said, we were raised by my mom and my father. We were fortunate that my mother and father stayed together the whole time. So today I want to talk to you about how I got to where it is that I am now, and how I'm trying to get to where it is that I really want to be. Because the first thing I'm going to let you know, I have not gotten to where it is I want to be. Some people feel that I've reached a level that makes them feel that I'm somewhat successful or doing okay. But me personally, I haven't gotten to where it is that I think I need to be. I really don't think I've gotten to where it is that God wants me to be. And so we're going to talk about goals today. We're going to talk about what it is that we need to do so that we can achieve what it is that we feel we want to achieve and what others expect us to achieve. So goals. Can somebody help me now? If you want me to stand up here for an hour, I can. If you want me to stand up here for about 15 minutes, I can. If you want me to stand up here for 5 minutes, I can. And those of you that know me, if you want me to stand up here for 3 hours and lecture you, I promise you I can do that too. I'm going to tell you a little bit about my background. But if you want to help me get through this thing, I'm kind of like the preacher, but I'm not a preacher. By a long shot, and I ain't trying. But if you participate with me, then that motivates me to keep this thing moving. Because that means that you're listening to me. And you and I both know we have short attention spans. All right, guys? I'm going to talk to y'all, but I'm going to expect everybody else in the room to participate too. I ain't going to let them off. Take my word for it. I'm not going to let them off. Okay? So y'all want to participate? Yeah. Can you tell me what the definition of a goal is?
Something you want to achieve.
Something you want to achieve? Okay, what else? Think about it. I'm going to come back to you.
Something you're striving for.
Something you're striving for?
Something you set your mind to.
Something you set your mind to? Did you figure it out? Keep thinking about it. I'm going to come back.
I'm going to say the same things.
Okay.
Something you do effort.
Something that you put an effort toward? Okay, give me some help on this side of the room. Where's the goal? Come on, help me out, guys.
A plan.
A plan? Anything else? Anybody else want something else?
Goal and outcome.
Something that's achievable.
Something that's achievable. All right. Now, this is what Webster says a goal is. An observable, measurable end result having one or more objectives to achieve within a limited time frame. A limited time frame, a goal, is not something that you're going to set out there that you're going to do for 6 million years. You want to reach this goal in a certain time frame. Okay? So can we all agree what a goal is?
Yes.
And for the purpose of the day, I'm going to define a goal, and I give tests, and you're going to have one in about 2 minutes. Okay? I'm going to be honest with you. There's going to be a test in 2 minutes, so get ready. And everybody has to take the test. Everybody. He said no, I'm going to get him first.
I'm sleeping.
Listen. So, today we're going to talk about goals from this perspective. Graduation is what the G stands for. The O stands for opportunity. The A stands for achievement. The L stands for leadership. And the S stands for success. So we're going to go graduation opportunities with achievement with some leadership for success. Can you remember that? Everybody got that?
Yes.
Remember, I told you we're going to have a test in a second. I'm going to see who's listening. But before we do that test, we're going to do another test. Can everybody make the okie doke sign? That sign right there. Can everybody do the okie doke sign? Can y'all do that sign right there? Everybody got that sign? Now, Now, I ain't going over here with somebody that's adding something to this sign over here. We ain't gonna talk about that part. But can y'all hey, watch, he's gonna be the one I get. So y'all watch this.
Yeah.
Now, everybody looking at me. Make sure you're looking at me. Keep watching me. Keep watching me. Everybody do your fingers like this. Y'all not participating. I told them to get you. Do your fingers like this. Come on. Do your fingers like this. Now, I need you to put this on your chin. Now, everybody freeze. The last time I checked, God made your chin down here. Where is your chin?
Yeah, you got it.
Now, why in the world did everybody put it on that thing right here that's called a what?
Cheek.
A cheek. Why did you put it on your cheek instead of your chin?
Watching you. Yeah.
You was watching me. But what did I prerequisite said that way? I told you to listen. I told you what to do exactly. And then I did what? I did the opposite. I told you what I wanted you to do. But you did what I did. Why did we do that? Somebody said we won't listen, and that's a good reason. Why else do we do that?
Follow.
Because you're a follower. Why else do we do that? What do our parents tell us? I know we got a whole lot of parents in the classroom. Huh? Parents say because we didn't listen. But what else do they preach to you every day? They tell you what?
Do what I say, but not what I do.
Do what I say, but not what I do. Your parents tell that to you every day. I know mine did. And yet and still, we as young adults, especially young adults, and when I mean by young adults, anybody under the age of 80, so I think I got everybody in the cover. We do what we see everybody else do. We don't process the fact that they might be doing something incorrect. We just decide, oh, everybody else doing it, it must be okay. So we need to set some achievable goals, and the first one I want you to set is that you're not going to be just like what?
Everybody else.
Everybody else. It's okay. I want you to participate. We don't want to be like everybody else. We want to set some goals, and we want to make those goals get there. Now, getting back to telling a little bit of my story. I told you I was born and raised in Richmond, Virginia. I was one of 3 boys and a sister in the family. Both of my parents were undereducated. My father finished in 1st grade, my mother finished in 3rd grade, but they had one goal for all of their children. They wanted us to go to college. They wanted all of us to go to college, but yet and still, they knew they couldn't pay for none of us to go to college. So my parents couldn't afford for us to go to college, but they wanted us to figure out how we could get there, and we had to do that. And that was a goal that my parents set for all of us, that they set for themselves when we were growing up. So, how in the world, coming from poverty, coming from the projects, for those of you who understand that a little bit better, coming from poor, and I do mean poor. Sometimes I wasn't sure what it was we were going to eat that day. We don't have the options that some of you have today, like these nice tennis shoes on. The best tennis shoe I ever had growing up was some Chuck Taylors. Anybody know what a Chuck Taylor is? Okay. Now, everybody thinks Chuck Taylors are something popular. You know, they're coming back. You know, you got some Chuck Taylors. You know, we had Chuck Taylors and some fish heads. Y'all don't know nothing about no fish heads. I know y'all don't know what those are. Y'all don't know nothing about that. But that's all we had when we was growing up. If we got a pair of Chuck Taylors, we thought we was in there. Now y'all got us some $100 Jordans and Nikes and all of that kind of stuff and some options. Y'all get up in the morning time and tell your parents what it is you is and ain't gonna eat. And I did say I ain't gonna eat. We had this thing called, if my mama put it on the table, you ate it and you ain't asked no questions about it. And you was thankful that it was on the table. So, gentlemen, what I'm telling you is, go back a little bit, learn something about your heritage, and then understand where it is. But anyway, I'm going to speed this story up so we can keep going. We didn't have financial means to get to college, but they wanted all of us to go. My brother, unlike me, was great at football. He was great at it. He played high school played for one of the better high schools in Virginia, Holland Springs High School, and he got a scholarship, full scholarship ride to Chapel Hill. My sister, pretty intelligent. She wanted to be a nurse. So she went the academic route. She got her scholarship. She went on to Chapel Hill also and graduated. So my older brother went to Chapel Hill and graduated. My older sister went to Chapel Hill and graduated. And here I come along in the 10th grade. Now, I wasn't dumb, but I didn't try hard. Let's just say it that way. I wasn't dumb by a long shot, but I didn't try hard. But in 10th grade, my dad said something to me. He said, boy, it's getting to be about that time, what you gonna do? Now, I was playing football, but I was at a non-sports-oriented football school. Okay? And so I was playing, having a good time, wrestling. I actually played tennis, believe it or not. I was good at tennis. I was better at tennis than I was at football. Can you believe that? I played tennis better than I played football in high school. But anyway, I got serious about football, went on to play at the same high school my brother went to. Ended up being one of the better tackles in town. Me and my college mate and also high school mate, McNeill, ended up being called bookends. We were on the offensive line together and defense, playing both ways. So I went on to do okay there. I started studying a little bit more and applying myself so that I could get into school, and I got there. I went to the University of Tennessee. My brothers and sister went to Chapel Hill. I went on a partial scholarship and a prayer. I'm going to just be honest with you, because I knew when I got there, I had to do what was necessary so that I could stay there. Because I had that Pell Grade to help me get through that first year, but I know I didn't have anything after that. So my freshman year, I got into college and I got real serious about football and real serious about education, to be honest with you. And I won a scholarship, a full scholarship ride, my freshman year as a freshman. And so I finished up the rest of my 4 years in school with a full scholarship, or 3 years in school with a full scholarship. I went in 1985, and I was the only, I'm going to say this one more time, the only football player that came in 1985 that graduated in 1989. I didn't do the extended plan. I did the real 4-year plan. So I played football, started from my middle of my freshman year, all the way through my senior year, and graduated on time, the only. At my graduation in 89, this is not patting me on my back, but this is patting my parents on their back, who are both deceased. My football team came to my graduation and stood up for me because I was the only football player that came in 85 that graduated in 89. I went on from there to move here to Winston-Salem in 1989. I was working at a law firm, doing some legal research work, again having those goals set that I wanted to be more than what I wanted to be, more than what even some others thought I could be, because my background said I was going to be nothing. Most of my friends that I went to high school with were doing things that some of your friends probably do now. Selling drugs, hanging out on the corner, robbing folk, doing some of the same things I'm sure you hear about. I'm hoping you're not participating in, gentlemen, but you're hearing about it. Okay? So I had those obstacles that I had to overcome, but I had to overcome them because I set some goals for myself. After getting here, I realized that I didn't get through high school, I didn't get through college, I didn't get through any of that stuff without having some folk in my life that helped me out. And that's when it really started setting in for me. I had some mentors, some friends, some parents, some things of that nature that helped me out. And so I decided that at that time I was working for Wachovia Bank, and we were in partnership with the old Peachtree Alternative School. Most of you all probably don't know anything about that, especially on this side of the wall. But some of you other ones that have been here in the community know that Peachtree was the alternative school. That's where you went when you got kicked out of school in Winston-Salem and Forsyth County schools. So I started working there, volunteering my time. I was employed by Wachovia, and I was volunteering my time teaching math to the kids at that school and tutoring with those kids. And so that led into one thing to another. I ended up creating a nonprofit company called Visions Work, working with kids and moving forward. And then I decided, wait a minute, I really didn't decide that. Let me go back again. One of my students came to me and said, Mr. Burton, you teach me better than my teacher does. And I said, what? I can learn it from you, but I'm not learning it from the teacher. So I went to the teacher trying to figure out what was going on, and the teacher said the kid couldn't learn. That was the problem. But yet and still, I was working with this young man who was getting his work done, went from making F's to making A's because someone was taking the time to teach him, because the teacher had already said, what?
He couldn't learn.
He couldn't learn.
She already wrote him off.
She had already wrote him off. And so, don't let anybody, and I'm going to tell you another story at the end of this speech, don't let anybody write you off. Don't let anybody else decide what your destiny is going to be. You have to decide it for yourself. If it is to be, it is truly up to you, up to me. It's up to whoever is in that situation. Don't let anybody write you off. But from there, I went on back to Winston-Salem State. I got my teaching degree in 80, who was it? 96 actually, 96. From that, I decided to go into school administration. I got a master's degree. I decided that wasn't enough. I went back again and I got a PhD in education administration. And so that kind of brings me to where I am now. So people call me doctor. You don't have to call me doctor, and I don't expect anybody really to call me doctor. But those were all goals that I set for myself as I started out on my path, because I wanted to achieve and I wanted to move forward. I wanted to be more than what it was. I wanted to show my third grade teacher that I wasn't going to be what she thought I was going to be. I wanted people to see from my community that I could go on and move on. I wanted other folk to understand that just because they think you're going to be nothing doesn't mean you're going to be nothing. So you are holding your own hands what it is that you can do by setting some small goals. Right now, most of y'all look like you're in probably what, middle school? Maybe elementary, be on the end. What grade you in, young man? Third grade, that's what I figured. So all of y'all are at that stage now where you all can really start to make impacts on your own life. There are people that are involved in your life, whether it be your parents, whether it be friends, mentors, teachers, coaches, whatever it may be, that will help you along that road. But you all have to decide now, today, what it is that you want to be tomorrow. Now, some of you might decide you want to be a doctor, a chemist, a scientist, president of the United States, whatever that may be. But what I tell you to do is start off with a small goal. If you're in third grade, you know what your goal needs to be about right now? Huh?
Passing the grade.
Passing the grade that you're in now. And when you pass that grade that you're in now, then you create your next goal. What people have a tendency to do is think about the real big picture. I want to be a doctor. And I'm not saying don't think about that. But you're never going to get to being a doctor if you don't get out of third grade. So you got to go 4th grade, 5th grade, all the way up to 12th grade, and then start looking at what you need to do moving forward from there. So establish your goals now, make them measurable within a short period of time that you can achieve them, get them achieved, and then as soon as you achieve that goal, go to what the next one's going to be. Now, I don't want you to wait until you get to 4th grade and say, yeah, I guess I got to think about 4th grade now. I want you to start thinking about it in 3rd grade, but I want your major goal or your short-term goal in 3rd grade to finish 3rd grade. Same for 6th, 7th, 8th, and on. So remember to establish some small goals first. What did I say goals stand for?
It stands for
What does G stand for?
graduation.
Graduation. What's the O stand for? Opportunities. What's the A stand for?
Achieve.
What's the L stand for? Leadership. And what's the S?
Success.
Success. So if you can get all of that, if you can get all of that out of those 5 letters, and last time I checked, all of y'all know how to spell goal. I was messing up just a second ago, but you know what a goal is, right?
Yeah.
So if you can get all of that out of that, why not take those small steps with that word goal so that you can get to the end, graduate, get some opportunities, achieve all of those opportunities that you get, perform leadership-wise so that you can have that success in the end. And that's all I'm saying to you. That's what I'm asking you all to do. That's what I want you all to do. That's what your parents want you to do. They want you to be successful in your own right. Your success for you may not be the same success for the person sitting beside you. Success is measured by what it is that you want to achieve. If your goal is to be a doctor and that's what you want your success to be, then you work toward that. Your goal might be, I want to be a lawyer. That doesn't mean the doctor's not good, but that's not what your success is. So success is what you want it to be, and you achieving whatever your goal is. Don't let anybody else tell you what your success is going to be. And I'm going to end on this story right here. Anybody know anything about chickens? I know all those grown folk do. Y'all know? I don't even know if do they still have chickens around now? I know they eat them, but they know anything about raising any. Y'all know anything about raising some chickens? Well, I grew up on a farm, kind of sort of. I grew up in the projects, but my great-grandparents had a farm. Okay? So we had to go back to the farm. And in this farm, there were some chickens. Y'all with me?
Yes.
And these chickens used to do what? What do chickens do? You know what chickens do? Yeah, they cluck and they cluck. What else they do? They just scratch around, eat a little bit, and keep on doing. So you see chickens all the time. They walk around, doing this little thing right here, and they're pecking. Everybody seen a chicken do that? I know y'all might not. Go home when you get home, look at the computer. But there was one set of chickens in this flock, in this playpen, that just didn't fit in. And all the other chickens used to tease him.
You know the ugly corn, and then he turned into like a cute corn.
Yeah, I do know that story. I can tell you that one afterward, but they were going to talk about some chickens. And there's a reason. There's a reason I'm going to talk about these chickens. But there was these chickens again, and there was a family of chickens, a mother and her 2 sons. Daddy was gone. It was just mother and her 2 sons. And they were out there, and all the other chickens were picking on the little boys. And Mom would always tell those 2 chickens, don't worry about them. You all gonna be fine. Matter of fact, I think I'm gonna fly. And Mama would get out there and go to running down the pathway, kicking and trying to flop her wings so that she can fly. Now she's a chicken, but she flapping them wings, trying to fly. And every time she would fail. And all of the other chickens in the flock would just laugh at her and tease the little boys. Look at your mama. Your mama out here thinking she's going to fly and she's just a chicken. Okay? So Mom kept on going, kept on going, and kept on going. She kept on trying to fly, and she kept on building up her children and said, you can fly. But everybody couldn't understand why these chickens look so different than the other chickens in there. But they walked around and they scratched and they clucked and they plucked and they did everything like every other chicken did. Well, one day, Mama passed and went on. You know what I mean by passed?
Yeah.
Okay? So the 2 little boys were left. They were teenagers then. And they were right there, still, with the rest of the chickens, and everybody took care of each other in the chicken neighborhood. So they kept on doing what they needed to do, and they kept on trying to run. One little brother, one little son of the mom, felt that he could fly, so he kept trying, but never did. But one day they were sitting there, and they were all there in the chicken coop. And all of a sudden they looked up, and they saw a chicken fly. And that chicken was just a soaring through. And the little boy looked at his brother and said, look, the chickens can fly. And they ran over to the end of the cage, and the big chicken came and landed beside them and looked at them and they you teach us chickens how to fly? And this, what they thought was a chicken said, son, I'm not a chicken. I'm a hawk. He said, what? He said, why do you think you look so different than the other chickens in the coop? You can fly. You're a hawk. And the little boy looked and said, huh? Mama kept telling us we could fly. But everybody else kept saying, no, you're a chicken. So you got to act like a chicken. So the hawk told the little boy, flap your wings, spread them wide, flap them hard, and run real fast. And he did it a couple times, and he didn't make it, and of course the chickens laughed. But on that third try, he flew. He looked back at his little brother and said, look, I can fly. We're not chickens. We're hawks. The other little boy said, no, I'm just a chicken. And he kept on clucking and plucking. So the two hawks flew on off together, the big hawk and the other one, he left his brother behind. And he came back later on and said, brother, why won't you come with me? He said, because I'm a chicken. And a chicken can't fly. Why did I tell you that story? Help me understand why I told you that story.
He was trying to say his goal to have fly.
One of them had a goal that he wanted to fly. Yes, what else? What happened to the one that was left behind?
He didn't want to accomplish his goal. He just wanted to stay as a chicken.
He didn't want to accomplish his goal. What else?
He wanted to be like everybody else.
He wanted to be like everybody else. What else?
If you believe you can do something, you can accomplish it.
If you believe something, you can achieve it. But what else? There's one thing y'all missing. If you tell yourself long enough, you're a chicken, guess what you're going to be? A chicken.
But if you believe, you can.
So it doesn't matter if y'all a young man sitting on this wall right here. If you keep letting somebody else tell you what you are, but you know you something else, you're going to be what they say you are. You have to put your foot down in the sand and draw the line and say, I'm going to be who it is that I am. And I'm not who you say I am. I am who God says I am.
That's right.
So you don't have to be a chicken. Point blank, you can be whomever you want to be. But don't let me tell you who you are. You decide who you are. Amen. Thank you. I'm not.
I'm going to go to the restroom, but don't start till I come back, because this is good.
I'm not. I can get it in there one while.
Hey, Dr. First.
Let's pass the collection.
Hey, we got a blanket on around.
How you doing, Doctor?
I'm doing wonderful.
Yes, sir. I like that. Man, I call you Doctor. All right, fellas, that's good.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Is there any questions? Fellas, I didn't want to ignore y'all. If y'all had some questions or something you want to ask me. If you're interested in hearing more about setting goals, I'll be glad to come back and sit down with you all and help you establish some goals. I'll be glad to do whatever I can to help you all out. Working with teens, working with youth is what I do. I didn't get a chance because I didn't want to take a whole lot of your time, but I've been working with kids since 1989 in some capacity, whether it was in the school system where I taught school, or when I went into school administration, when I ran schools, or when I ran alternative schools, or working with kids involved in the juvenile court system. Now I work with kids ages birth to 12, running child care facilities and after-school programs. So if there's something I can do, anybody in this room knows how to get in contact with me. We'll be glad to work with you and help you out. Yes, sir.
If you know this place called the Boys and Girls Club,
Yes, sir.
we always do like a pray before everybody starts to do a whole lot of stuff. So when we do it, we have at least 4 or 5 people. One does the description and the rest does praying.
Okay. That's a good thing. Make sure